had as they grew up. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have the internet. I did we played Oregon Trail. That was like the extent of the computer when I was in school. So when you see these kids now, they've just got access to so much information, and not all of them are doing something with it, but a large chunk of them are, and it makes me really, really happy and proud. It's like the revolution that's been going on in Turkey. They questioned the protesters there, and 81% of them said that they define themselves as libertarians, which I thought was fantastic.
That is crazy. Yeah, they stole remember, Rick, we talked about them stealing the bulldozer and driving it to the prime minister's house?
Yeah.
I bet you that was a fun road trip. Imagine that, just, got your little gas mask on and you're just doing about 3 miles an hour down the road on a giant bulldozer. I love that idea. Danielle, ever see the movie Idiocracy?
I have.
Do you think we're headed towards it, or do you think we're headed to like Angel? She's got hope. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm a little worried. I think we're a little bit more towards Idiocracy right now.
I think we're actually closer to there now than most people want to admit. But I think, and I do agree with her on some levels, I think that, and just even like what you were talking about, there's so many more people, when I was growing up, my mom was like, oh, look at all these, chemical laden foods. They're great. Look at how fast I can make it. Where now we're starting to get back to real food and, and not trusting that, everything that gets put out because science says it's okay is okay. And we're getting back to a more natural way of life and wanting to do things more local and in our communities, which I didn't see growing up. Because we were in that, everything coming out is just the greatest thing in the world and life is going to be so easy because I have a microwave, where we don't have a microwave in our house, and I love it. And so I do think there's hope, because I think we're getting back to those things that nobody's been interested in for so long. But then, as generations are coming up, they do want that. And because of the information that's out there and because you get to see both sides of the argument, where my parents only saw this is great and it's going to help you be quicker. Now you can see, yeah, but there's also another side to it. And so to me, the information and the new media and all that is doing so much for the next generation coming up that I think things are going to get better.
Alex, and I look at all the information that's coming out on the internet, and I kind of weigh it all, but I'm about 50-50 when it comes to being optimistic versus pessimistic. But as more and more scandals become surface level, mainstream media where they're finally talking about it, it's kind of like the dinosaurs finally caught up with the new breed on the internet, and they're now acknowledging, and now they're all outraged, and how dare the government trample on the Fourth Amendment? And you know what? Even though I know they're assholes, and even though I don't trust them, and even though they're always late to the party, I'm really glad they're talking about it, because it's, like I said earlier in the show, it's permeating my 67-year-old Fox News watching brother. He's now tweeting, his girlfriend's now putting on 1984 references on her Facebook page. And I'm like, hey, you kidding me? I was saying that to you 10 years ago, and you would laugh and then going, oh, don't worry, we just need to go kill some terrorists, blah, blah, blah. Now, 10 years later, everyone in this country is starting to not fear their own government, which they always do, but not trust it. And Fox News is helping, say what you will. But right now, the more people talk about outrage, whatever the story is, whatever the topic is, and I know it's the right blame and the left this time, they get to do that. They're guys in office, the other guys in office. But you know what? More people are waking up. At the end of the day, pendulum's starting to swing the other way. It doesn't matter how it gets there.
Look, we go and talk to a lot of people. We go door to door, do a lot of efforts when it comes to getting the vote out. And the one common theme that most people have is that the government sucks. And that's, I don't care, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Most people, for some reason, think the government sucks, which it does. But they all blame, a lot of them blame somebody different. These stories can tell you who to blame, and also can show you the history of why it was both sides that did it in order to make it happen. And right now they're willing to listen because you have had these so-called crazy people. Everybody knows that person. Yeah, he said the government was going to do this all along. That guy, and again, I hate to use the word vindicated, but he's now been vindicated to the point where he will now be listened to. So the guy 10 years that said you were out of your mind are going to call you up and say, hey, man, is this the kind of stuff you were talking about? Like,